What's up, you filthy casuals? Welcome to the Casual Shenanigans podcast, the irreverent love of gaming. I'm your host tonight, James. Jeremiah is out this week, but he'll be back next week.
Slacker.
I'm joined by the General, Dave.
Hello, soldiers.
And I'm joined by Joel Biloxi, vacuum salesman.
Seller of LaCroix and other fine wares.
Joel, people are actually going to think that, like, we're not even sponsored by, like, LaCroix. We're just, like, literally just shilling for LaCroix. For,
No,
like,
we're the
no
creators
reason.
of LaCroix.
Why would LaCroix ever put money into that ad?
That's true. Yeah.
They will never think it's a sponsorship. They'll pay us to take it down. We might get a cease and desist before we get a sponsorship.
Yeah, it's probably true. No contact order.
You can't stop parody, though, right?
You
can't
can't,
do a
but you
cease
can
and desist
stop
parody, right?
abominations like that.
You can stop abominations.
So, how's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Still
I'm
tired
very
from the
tired.
weekend. Yeah, I was about to say.
Yes. Had to work out today.
I guess we can talk about this during the 90 seconds, Joe, but what did we do this last weekend? Since we don't have any announcements really this week.
Sure. Yeah, since no one wants to give us money for Patreon, great job, guys.
I'm really disappointed.
Yeah. Gosh. No,
What did we do,
anyways.
Joel?
Nothing.
Where was that train of thought disembarking?
Yeah, sorry, it just went. I'm very tired. Like
Hey, look at his Chimera book.
I told Joy today we had our workout today. We work out Tuesday and Thursdays, and like I was just so tired. I've not like gotten enough rest. Like it's just ridiculous. I'm really excited for the weekend because I'm just gonna sleep in and just relax. I'm just like my brain has been so tired. So it's weird because I'm like I've gotten a good amount of sleep, but I'm just like so exhausted. So
You're so
maybe
tired,
just more
Joel.
like-
You still haven't explained why you're so tired.
Oh yeah, I'm getting to that. See, that's why I'm so tired. James came down into town, and we used Dave's place, and we filmed a short film for the 48-hour film festival. And yeah, we had a lot of fun.
That first night. Okay, so anybody that doesn't know how 48-hour film festival works, the night of, they give you have to pick from either a hat or whatever they have designated. We picked from like the sorting hat from Harry Potter. You had to pick a genre, and the list of categories were just so all over the place. And there were some that were like, yeah, we would do really well if we got this, and there were some like animal films and fable and musical. Or like, oh crap,
Joel
please,
loves animals.
please don't let us get any of these. So we got a really cool category. We got sci-fi, and then they give you a log line, they give you a prop that you have to include, and then they give you a character with either it can be a guy or a girl name, and then a job or something that they participate in. So from that point, we had 48 hours to come up with an idea, write the script, shoot it, edit it, do sound effects, music, whatever, and then turn it in. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. That first night we were like, you know what, we should really just go shoot some tonight.
Yeah, we were like maybe shoot a little bit of something, and then we shot all night.
We started shooting at 11:30
Yeah, it was
and
really
shot
late.
until 6:30 in the morning. We're like,
Okay,
guys,
so
we gotta hurry up. The sun is coming up.
This is where I gotta come in. So when Joel asked if he could film at my property, I mean, I wanted to help out. I thought it was really cool. We've filmed a bunch of stuff at my property before. I was like, yeah, of course. I had signed up for a 5K the next morning. like I had to get up at 6:30, which is earlier than I get up on weekdays to go run this 5K. I was like, it'll probably be fine, because Joel was saying like, oh, we'll probably film Saturday night. I was like, okay, I'll do the 5K in the morning. I'll take a nap before Joel gets there to film. Friday night, Joel calls me at like 7:15. He's like, hey, so we're gonna film tonight. And they did. And I got like an hour and a half of like light sleep, because the bedroom window, there was like people going back and forth with lights all night long. And the dog was not happy about it, because she could hear people in the backyard all night long. So she was
Sorry,
like woofing
Dave.
quietly. So I got like an hour and a half of sleep. I get up, I'm like squinting, pouring my coffee, my survival juice, I look out the window and Joel's out there on my front porch. Like the sun's coming up and he's like packing lights up. Like, dude, I ran that 5K.
Were you like, holy crap, they're still here?
I honestly wasn't super surprised because given the fact that I got no sleep and you guys been out there all night, I was like, he probably just decided to go for it. But like running the 5K just a couple hours after that, like usually when you're running, like your lung capacity and like your legs getting tired is your main thing, right? That's like where like usually it's lung capacity for me that gets me first. Like my lungs start to hurt at the end of a 5K. Joel, at the end, like the last mile, I'm trying to increase or I guess decrease my speed or time per mile. There we go. And so I was trying to push a little bit harder. I got so dizzy. I was like, I'm going to keel over and like run off the path into a tree or something, or just like slide across the pavement to a stop. I was like, I'm going to either black out or just lose control or something. But I finished the 5K. I had a time of like 10-20 per mile, which wasn't awful for getting no sleep the night before. But dude, I came home and I slept for 7 hours in the middle of the day. I was just like,
the humidity was 95%.
Yes.
The lowest it got that night, I think, was 83. That was it. But it was.
But with all those work lights on and running around and then going inside the cabin with no airflow whatsoever, it was pretty bad. Joel, can you either sit up or tilt your camera down?
Wait, you guys not?
Bye, Joel.
Hey, guys.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. We went back and shot another scene that morning, and our actor like fell asleep, and Joel's like, "Yeah, just go ahead and sleep. We'll wake you up when it's time to shoot." He like literally woke him up because it was a scene of waking up and answering a phone. So he wakes up and he starts stretching. We're like, "All right, this isn't gonna work." So then I think we both got like 2 hours of sleep each.
Yeah, Dave.
And then went back at writing and.
Oh man!
Filmed out in that field was so nasty hot. Like, it was like 95 degrees, and the humidity was still there, but there were like, I don't know what it was, like just really tall grass or whatever it was. It was like above head height, and it was like itchy and.
Oh, allergy grass. Yeah.
I think John said his cup down, and within like a minute we had a grasshopper and another bug crawling on it, so it was just nasty out there. But it was a lot of fun either way. And then I think Joel edited like to what, 6 a.m.
Dave, I had when we got back, right, I wanted to make sure I copy all the footage off first. So John fell asleep downstairs. And I was like, John, go upstairs, fall asleep in my bed, because we had to shoot like a small scene there. And I was like, I have to set up anyways. I just like, I was curious just for science. I was like, I wonder if I could like say action, wake him up, see if he could remember fast enough to know his lines, to see if it looked really realistic.
That's so cruel.
Dude, I know, but it was so funny, Dave, because he wakes up and we're like, action, go, and he's just like. And it's also like he looks over like he's supposed to grab for his phone. He just goes, like it's really slow, drawn out. It was like, all right, too real. That was funny though. Didn't work at all.
Oh man,
it was fun though. I was happy with it. We'll probably put it on here after the little embargo's been lifted for us to be able to share it.
Yeah, definitely. It was fun.
Good stuff.
Really tiring weekend, but we definitely. We shot in a lot of locations. We like shot a lot in a short amount of time.
It's funny though. We're shooting. We're like, holy crap, we're gonna have like an hour and a half movie.
Yeah, I was really
like
surprised.
5 minutes. We're like, oh, okay, well, that works.
Remember that time you're like, Joel, what if you edit together Norman? It's like, crap, it's 7 minutes.
Well, the CGI would be done faster.
No, 45 minutes of a drone shot.
The key is you just slow it down frame by frame. It's like 1 FPS, so it lasts longer.
So we're going to start the podcast like we always do without Jeremiah. What are you guys playing this week? Of interest.
The game of sleep.
So outside of my regulars this week, seeing Joel has nothing apparently.
I haven't played anything. I've been in the mood. I wanted to play something the other day, but like my my mind, my mind.
Your mom.
Your mom, my mom wouldn't let me.
My mom said,
My mom's telling me no.
I'm sorry, what?
My pants just like they just like I don't know.
Did you just say, oh no, my pants are so tight?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So basically, until you guys hear otherwise, I'm playing Fallout and Witcher. But I also started the Magic Castle, our own game, finally after like 3 months. I streamed some of it for Joel. There's so much dialogue. It has more dialogue than The Witcher, actually. I've broken a few things and also found all the secrets so far, right, Joel? All the hidden loot.
Yep. So far.
Okay. About a half an hour in, so like...
Has it gotten to the place yet where he can really find all the loot?
No, he's not even close.
Yeah, it was 30 minutes to get past, or I guess like right to the point of the weird stranger basement. So
yeah, that part's weird.
And just on a side note, I've been going through some Battlefield alpha footage this week, and man, I'm looking forward to being back into a Battlefield game. The open beta is at the end of this month, and I am ready to go. So you guys better join me on PC for some open beta. I mean, it's free, James. I know that's your key word. Free trial.
I hope it gets you over to UK again. Well, yeah. Still called the UK? Yeah, it's UK. Are they going to do another tournament, do you think?
Oh, for Battlefield?
Yeah.
Gosh, this is going to sound mean. I hope they do so I can be more proud of it. Because it was a really fun event, but at the end of the day, like I came home and like the internet is on fire with like Battlefield 4 is totally broken. And I was like, we won the championship for the broken game. Yeah, all right. It kind of stole the thunder. Because we played it for like another 2 months, and then everyone just dropped off, and it took like a year for it to start to get improvement. So, Battlefield 1 is looking much more polished. And after the launches of Battlefront and Hardline being solid, like, you know, no issues at launch besides Hardline wasn't a great game, I'm hopeful that this will at least not be broken at launch.
Did you see any snipers on the on top of the what are those things called?
Oh, the blimp?
Yeah. What's the actual name?
Airship, I think is what they used to call them. Like, they were airship fleets.
I thought there was another more technical name.
And yes, even in the closed alpha, there were snipers all over that thing. I tried a couple times to like take the biplanes and like scrape them off the top.
That would make for awesome footage. Hope you get that.
Yeah,
I played a good couple hours of Battlefield 1, and it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah. I mean, I think, honestly, 4 is a great game now. It's still bloated design-wise, but it functions well, and overall, it's still a good game. It's just, it's too late. Like, for me, I've moved on, and I'm kind of tired of Modern Warfare, Doom. But anyway, James, how about you? What are you playing this week?
So I did get to play a little bit of No Man's Sky.
Oh.
It's what I expected. I like collecting stuff in games, so I enjoyed that aspect of it. But it doesn't feel like a $60 game, which we'll talk more about tonight.
Okay. Is that a segue into our main topic, James?
No, not yet. Play a little more Fallout Shelter. I think I've hit 25 hours now.
Wait, how many are you into Fallout Shelter?
25 hours.
Oh my gosh! Now,
well, I've got a system set up now where I'll maybe play for 15, 20 minutes of just leveling up people, moving around to the different training rooms and stuff, and sending people off to quests, and then I'll come back like 20 hours later to then do the quests because it takes a certain amount of time for them to get there.
And you're not going to pay to make that go faster. Is that even an option to pay to make it go faster? No. Okay.
I mean, good. Well, there is the temptation because it's relatively cheap. Like, I didn't pay for the game technically, so I could spend a little bit of money, not feel bad for all the, enjoyment I've gotten out of it. But
yeah,
nah. But played a little WWE 2K16 last night. Actually had fun. Created the Incredible Hulk for my character.
Okay, I was gonna say which sport is this?
It's wrestling.
Wrestling.
Of course, it was free on Xbox Live. So that's about it. Speaking of No Man's Sky, this is a segue, everybody. Dave, do we have audio?
We do. I hit a shortcut. That was my bad.
What parts did you guys miss?
It's just James talking about his Fallout fix.
I heard.
Yeah, you guys heard. I have a shortcut for OBS that I hit in the Google Doc that muted the stream. I mean,
how long ago do you think you did that, Dave?
It was like 15 seconds, 20 seconds.
Okay.
I mean, it's just James talking about games.
Games.
Maybe it was just the wrestling part, not the Fallout Shelter.
That'd be great if I muted just the wrestling part. James like, let me play this sports game.
Offensive. We don't talk about sports on this podcast.
Yeah.
So our main topic tonight is a topic by our very own Debbie. And the topic is, why do games come out with awesome trailers and break your heart by releasing something subpar?
I meant to ask Debbie like where this topic came from, because that sounds like a very personal story is right there, like about some game that like betrayed her.
Well, I think it was because of No Man's Sky. I think that, I don't know if she played it, but
that was what everyone's talking about for sure.
And I think that's, for that game in particular, it's more than a trailer, because the trailers weren't really, I mean, they literally had nothing else to put in trailers because there's no story. So you only can show gameplay footage. But if you look at games like Metal Gear Solid, a lot of these bigger budget games that have money set aside to make really elaborate trailers. Like, I don't even want to know how much they spend making these trailers.
Or seeing Jeremiah's not here, I'll use his favorite example from this year, The Division, which, I think Jeremiah would say he still definitely enjoys the game, enjoys playing it with us. But the trailers kind of painted a very different picture of like a very intense story-based like RPG FPS, where
it looked very dystopian, and now it's just like a dirty city.
It's a loot shooter now. Like there's a story that you follow, but it's just kind of like you unlock it section by section. You don't really change anything in the city. The earliest trailers, which I'm trying to remember now, kind of painted a picture of like. You might be able to influence the city, like actually rescue parts of the city yourself, like make a big difference. I think not having completed the Division story, Joel, I think you're closer, isn't it? You just kind of follow along, like you're just like along for the ride, like you don't really influence the city and the disaster.
The only time, where you see, I mean, the only way I would say like you influence is really, and it's not really influencing. It's in a way. I mean, you come back to the HQ, and the more quests and stuff you do, like you'll see more people like in like it opens up. There's like a bigger apartment. There's more people in beds. There's more kids there that are.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Medicals. Yeah. So in a way, it's cool, but like to me, it's not anything even with Dark Souls where like you can save certain characters or you might kill them and you come back and all of a sudden the bonfire is gone because you killed the wrong person and now someone stole. You know what I mean? Something that's like almost really drastic. But where John is playing it, and it's a completely different game for him because it is very hard to find all the people. So the game does change a lot. But yeah, I mean, it's very linear in the sense of like you change it as you progress the game. But if you progress the same way, you're going to see the same results. So it was still fine, but it's nowhere what it looked like it was going to possibly be when they showed the first thing of like, oh, you can take over a building. I thought you were going to be able to take over several of those buildings, like. You have the outposts you can spawn at, but I mean, all you can do is spawn at them. It's not like
outside of the main outpost in the Division, you are just a spectator at the other outposts, and you can upgrade the outpost. And Joel, you look really suspicious right now.
What?
Like,
sorry, I couldn't hear. Go ahead.
Oh, is Skype freaking out?
No, it's probably my end.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say, outside of the main outpost in the Division, you really can't influence, like, or create or build or change the city. And the early trailers showed something pretty different. And I mean, again, I enjoyed The Division too, like Jeremiah does, but I would have, I think, preferred that original idea of like you reclaim the city block by block, not just by unlocking missions, but by actually, maybe building things or recruiting people or, stuff like that. And it was never promised, but the earliest trailers heavily implied it, wouldn't you say, Joel?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, absolutely. I mean, because one of the biggest, I think, reveals in a bad way was, oh, this is Borderlands like bullet sponge.
Yeah.
Like that was definitely a downer. Like, again, me and my brother Jonah and my wife Joy, we all really enjoyed it. Like it's very fun in its own way, and we've played everything. I think we only have like 2 little tiny quests that are just DLC quests. They're free, but we've done everything else. Everything's fully upgraded. We finished the game.
But is it the game you thought it was going to be?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. Still a good game.
I literally, when we went into this, we thought, oh man, finally we get to roam around together in a real post-apocalyptic type game.
Yeah.
Something that would have been awesome to do in like New Vegas or something like that.
Yeah.
And what's funny with it is I feel like if the developers decided right now to spend 6 months, they could really retool and have a complete mode that was like a one-hit shot kill and make it really feel a little bit like DayZ. Still the same, literally the same game, but just retool how the combat is from the bullet sponge to just more of like actually needing to take cover and stuff, where you got to a point where, I mean, like we did, like when it's on hard, like where it's just enough difficulty, it is quite fun because you'd have to work together. But, I thought it was going to be a little bit more DayZ-like in the sense of, all right, we got to really stick together. We got to be careful. It's like, nah, once you die and you realize you can just, not even run back from the same place, but just, you don't die
super
that fast.
Close and
yeah, it was like, okay.
It plays more like Left 4 Dead than DayZ.
Yeah.
Which is it's not a bad game. Like that's still fun, but it's not what was implied by those first trailers.
I'm having a hard time getting into it. Like, I played with you guys a couple times, and you guys say, hey, we're playing Division. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd rather watch something on Netflix or go to sleep or something.
It's funny. It is.
James, can you imagine some developer like, guys, we're talking about my game on the podcast. He says he'd rather take a nap than play our game. Like just years of work crushed. Hopes and dreams gone.
You got my money, kind of.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
Yeah. It's funny. Like, I think playing certain games with the right people too. Like, I mean, like it was also really fun playing with my brother because my brother is completely out of touch of the video game world. He really is. Like, the same way I think Jeremiah might say, everybody knows Call of Duty, like that's the thing. Like you just buy the Call of Duty game come out. Like in a way that's Jonah, but not necessarily Call of Duty. Like, but he's just kind of like, oh, that's the top game. Okay, cool. I'll try it out. Because he just got a PS4 recently and he wanted some game to play together. And so in a way, it made the game a lot more fun playing with him because he is very new to a lot of other games. And he gets so scared at games. That's really funny. Like in Division, he's getting like, oh gosh. And we're playing Dark Souls 3 together. And he's like getting so scared, like playing the game. He's like, shit, I could not play this by myself. So I'm really enjoying playing with him because he's having a lot of, he's just like, oh my gosh, it's so intense. And I'm like, we're like, we just walked down a tiny little tunnel. Like nothing happened. He's like, oh my gosh. So
I never got scared playing Dark Souls with you, Joel.
Yeah.
I would just like, damn it, Joel, why don't you tell me? Boom, dead.
It's more anger than
I hate
fear.
you.
Jonah can handle a little bit more of the random shit deaths.
So another game that the first game wasn't that great, to be honest, but the trailer for the second game actually looked really interesting, and that's Homefront Revolution.
Oh, good
Like when we
one.
saw that, it was like, oh wow, that actually looks very interesting. This looks way more refined than the last game. And the game came out, and it was just not that good. I don't know what it averaged on Metacritic, but
Not good. I think like mid 60s. Not a bad game. That's a great example, James, because the first trailers we saw weren't they like the world?
it's at 48
trailers?
on 48 on Metacritic.
Oh.
So yeah.
Because the world was intriguing, but the game ended up being a very generic shooter, and it had a little bit too much of the like futuristic stuff going on for my taste. And the original Homefront was just a Call of Duty clone, but it had that Red Dawn kind of like, America Has Fallen storyline that, even though gameplay wise,
that was the big hook for that game, is playing in your home neck of the woods.
Had some really cool levels. Yeah, man, Homefront, that was a game that up until like a month before launch, I was pretty excited for. I actually already forgotten about it.
So another game, it hasn't come out yet, but when we saw the trailer, we were all in love with it immediately until we saw footage of it at E3, and that game is Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Yeah.
Is it Wildlands or Badlands? We always get that confused.
It's Wildlands. I finally locked it down.
Boardlands, I don't care.
That's one of those games where I'm like, come on, like surprise us. Like,
well,
all of a sudden,
you're watching the trailer and you see these group of 4 guys that are always like traveling together and they're pushing in to, take out some enemies and stuff. You're like, oh man, this could be like the more accessible version of Arma for us.
And you know what it was, James?
We could all get into.
It showed them playing and communicating like you would in Arma, but with the accessibility of being like a drop-in, like the missions are already ready to go. But it had that communication and that teamwork, and the first trailer treated it with like a seriousness that made it feel like, oh yeah, this is like just a very accessible version of Arma. And then the last gameplay we saw, it was like Just Cause 3 is what it reminded me of. You're just running
without
around.
Any of the cool elements of Just Cause 3, such as zipping around and
it was Just Cause 3 without being self-aware.
And it also it looks like it's just balancing the middle line. Like it's not crazy Just Cause 3, and it's also not taking any of the risk of like, all right, we have to work together.
It's not Ghost Recon either.
And that's like, that's what's, like I really want a game that actually forces you to actually have to work together.
Yeah.
And that was one thing I think I really enjoyed about Payday 2 when we were playing back before we broke away from that addiction. But
the
like,
one night of
you
addiction.
have to work together. It's not like you probably should, but you have to, because you will do nothing. You'll get nothing done. And I think that's what kind of frustrates me with those games, and even DayZ now, is like, you do not have to work with anybody or rely on anyone because you can just do anything on your own. But like having that reason of, all right, guys, we're going in, make sure the 2 snipers are there, we're going to take them out at the same time. That could be so tense and fun. And you could easily just add like, all right, here's easy difficulty. You know what I mean? And just be able to have a few more shots or more health or something. But it's like I think they're going way too much for we want to make sure everyone can have the same experience. But like, you're going to ruin tons of experiences because of that.
I think even with DayZ and some of the more milsim stuff for Arma 2, though, at least if the cooperation isn't necessary, it's still a bit of a punishment if you die. Like there's going to be some like you've got to get back to where you were before. Whereas in Wildlands, it feels like oh, you were hip firing, you blew up the gas station, and a flying barrel killed you. All right, let me respawn and start running back in again. Like it just doesn't seem like there's any consequences for anything.
And I would be okay if that's how it was somewhat marketed. Like just a crazy, over-the-top, Just Cause type game. And it just, the trailer really threw me.
Yeah.
So
I think it was because it wanted something so much
exactly
like that was a little bit less technical than Arma, where we could all play and enjoy. But, yeah.
Like, what was it? Metal Gear Solid 5, I guess? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when I first started playing it gave me a 100% Destiny type feeling, because I really enjoyed it from the start. I think it was around 10 and a half hours when all of a sudden it clicked and it was like, what? Like it was just like the wool was taken off my eyes. I was like, holy crap, this is horrible. Because I was playing it like DayZ, where I was like trying to sneak around, kill everyone really quietly. And then I realized, oh, I don't have to do any of this. I can just walk in and just slice everyone with my knife, because it was that easy. I was like, what the heck? And I mean, I had it on whatever difficulty above normal was. So it was like advanced. It wasn't like the hardest, but I was like, come on, this is ridiculous. But that would, like, the world it created for a while, I was like, man, that'd be cool if it was a 4-player co-op and you actually had to work together. You could be like, all right, we're going to bring in weapons and shoot. Yeah, like, it would have been really fun. But nope, again, I was just like, yeah, the trailers for it definitely represented something completely different, I thought. I think the biggest reason is too is just, you got to sell it too. So I mean, I can understand the amount of years it takes to develop these games and the amount of money. So they have to make a profit, like especially because the investors, they care about making their money back that they put money in for, right? And then you have the game developers who are hoping to make a good game and then sell a good game. But when push comes to shove, I think the developer or the investors, they need their money back more importantly than your game needs to be the best game ever, or show what you showed them earlier.
Yeah.
So another game I'd like to add to the list is Resident Evil 6. And the reason I want to add it is because the way it was first portrayed, even in any of the in-game stuff they showed, it made it look like it was kind of a return to form, like to some of the older games. It did have Chris Redfield in it. So it kind of, 5 wasn't a great Resident Evil game. Like, I know you and John are playing it right now and are probably having fun doing it, but apart from playing with John, it's probably not that fun of a game for you, correct?
Yeah.
And so, from all the trailers...
We're playing 5. You mean is 6?
Right.
6,
5.
6
I was saying
awful,
5 wasn't that good. And so 6 being kind of redemptive, hopefully, ended up being even more convoluted than any other Resident Evil game.
Yeah. Because 5 felt a lot like 4 to me, other than being able to play co-op. Like, it didn't seem massively different because I only played 4 and 5. So that's my only Resident Evil experience. But 6 was so weird. It turned into like a brawler. It kind of reminded me of playing, did you ever play Die Hard in the arcades?
No.
It's like a third person. You have a big old joystick. But like, it was just beat 'em up. It was like, wait, you're just kicking and smashing zombies, where in Resident Evil 5, that's kind of like I hope I get the button to hit them because then I can save ammo. This one was just straight walk up, punch, jump, kick. It was just weird.
Yeah, 6 had all these different character changes and like crazy action sequences. Yeah, it didn't work.
So the original topic question asks, and we got some good examples now, why does this happen? Like, why does the end product somewhat frequently not match the trailers that got us excited for the games?
Well, I think they have different teams probably working on trailers than they're working on the actual game. And as a marketing person, you don't have to necessarily love your product to make it lovable, Your goal is to make people believe in whatever you're selling, even if you don't personally believe in it. You very briefly become invested in it. You believe in it yourself so that you can kind of empathetically come up with something that other people are going to want to play. And I think those two departments are so far apart often. If they made honest trailers, not the YouTube channel, if they made trailers honest to what the footage was, you probably wouldn't buy it.
There'd be less of a hype train that would, kind of carry itself. There'd be more informed consumers, I think, that would be more cautious. There's an advantage for the marketers for kind of letting the hype train get away from itself. Like No Man's Sky, they showed some early trailers, and I think a lot of the community kind of rolled with it, and they just let it go. Like, they didn't kind of try to put a cap on that enthusiasm until closer to launch. Like, hey guys, this game won't be for everybody. It's not going to have everything you're thinking it's going to. But for, years of development for No Man's Sky in particular, the community was kind of like making this out to be the Star Citizen on consoles with planetary exploration, and people were like saying like, I saw this thing in this one frame in the trailer. I bet that's going to be a society system, and just all these wild, themes. I think a lot of times the marketing departments just let it go, because they're not deceiving anybody, but they're also not trying to keep people grounded either.
Well, we live in a society where opening weekend is make or break for games and movies. As you know, games over time depreciate in value. And so they may be a $60 game at launch, but some games drop in half just a couple months. And so if you're, as a studio, if you're going to make that initial money, if you're going to make it worth retailers buying your product, you've got to have that initial just everybody runs to the store and buys it. The people that aren't going to wait for reviews, people that look at the initial critics and say, "Oh, you're just being critical," or you just don't get this game. So they try to get people in there. I mean, the same thing with movies. You get people in the seats for the first weekend.
Yeah.
You've made most of your production budget back, and then everything from there is, covering marketing costs and stuff like that. Of course, movies don't necessarily depreciate over time, as opposed to they just stop being shown completely. But that large hype you get in the beginning helps build any also momentum. So if you sell 100,000 copies of No Man's Sky, people are like, oh, well, that didn't do too well, I'm not going to pick it up. But if you sell 1 million the opening weekend, opening week, you're like, dang, everybody wants this game. And so you're going to run out and buy it based on the hype, than more so than the reviews and the quality of the game.
I just had a thought that I think it would have been a better way to market No Man's Sky. The people who develop the
demo?
Game. No, the people who develop Journey and Abzu, right? I think No Man's Sky would have been really awesome if they did not talk about infinite planets and all that, and that was more of a surprise. Because here's my thought: anyone who sees that game, let's say his plan, which I think is totally fine if the plan was, I wanted to make a minimalist game where you can go to other planets, but really there's not too much to do. It's just to look and explore, the same like Journey is. It's very simple. It's just really minimal. It's music and you just take in the environment, right? But if it was more of a surprise, people would probably have been really excited to go, holy crap, you can go to all these places. So it would have, in a way, lowered the expectations to, this is going to be a game like Journey where you listen to sweet music, you do a couple simple things, it's very simple gameplay, but with that surprise twist of, holy shit, you can go all over this place, and that would have been really good. But because they marketed it and showed off all these planets, I think anyone who's seeing it, it's hard to imagine going, oh no, this game, of course, you're going to have almost nothing to do. You're probably going to be thinking, oh my gosh, you can go to all these planets. There's probably be tons of stuff we can do. You know what I mean? Because it's who would make a game where you can go to all these planets and then do nothing? You know what I mean? There's not much to do. That's about it. It's hard to, think of it okay, Daisy showing, hey, we have a full map. Guess what you guys can do? Nothing. Oh, well, why'd you make it so big? Oh, just to take an environment. Oh, but there's nothing to do? Nope. Oh, okay. But you probably shouldn't have marketed the fact that it's so giant and huge to explore. That's not a great thing to market if there's literally nothing if there's not much to do. If your point is just to let people just take it in and explore. I think the Journey team could have marketed it way better.
But it's so drastically different than Journey also, in that exploring is really not the fun part. Going to the different planets, to me, wasn't that fun. It was more fun trying to find resources to upgrade my ship and resources to upgrade my multi-tool and getting new components for it. Going to the next planet, they all looked... Joel, are you okay?
I have an itch.
Ow. Where's your itch at?
Sorry.
Distraction 101.
My no itches.
Just don't look at my video feed.
I'll try.
You mean the feed covering half my screen right now? Yeah, I'll just look over here.
So I don't know if it's like this in the entire universe for No Man's Sky, but where I started out, when I would get out to space, it was all this green haze. And so it really wasn't that exciting to look at. And so I'm flying to the next planet, and you land pretty fast, but there's so little between little colony areas and abandoned bases that you don't really want to fly low and look around the planet that much, other than you need to find some resources. So exploration to me was probably the least fun part of it. It was more fun just actually finding something and finding what resources. I haven't dared go into a cave yet.
I think one of the biggest things that is a no for me for getting the game, heck no, I'm not buying it now. Right now it just straight up looks boring. but the fact that like it's not hard to land this ship, like has no kind of like physics where it's like, you know, like I don't know, you have to be careful, like take it slow, be careful, like you might land on the edge of a cliff or a cool rocky outcrop to explore.
yeah.
It's just like you gotta get
that.
Yeah,
I would purposely like nosedive and like at the last second hit land, it'd be like.
Yeah, that I was like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like so it even takes it looks like it just takes out a lot of the challenge of even doing that. And then I thought that would be really fun. Like if the game comes out on VR, I would probably pick it up for cheap because I think it'd be cool to look around at stuff like that. But if it takes away the challenge of like, I don't know, exploring and yeah, again, like James said, it was like, well, there's not much reason to like fly around everywhere else if all the kind of like if you're just gonna see the same stuff here, but you might as well go to the little outpost or whatever they have because there's nothing else anywhere else. Yeah.
So,
I've not hated my time playing it. It's just it's not what I expected it to be, and I'm fine with that. But it's more like a Long Dark or The Forest, any one of those survival games where you're collecting stuff to then do more stuff. Long Dark is more like you're surviving to stay alive. In this, you do have to collect stuff because the environment does take a toll on your life suit and stuff. My biggest thing is it didn't ever feel like a $60 game. Like
I cannot believe it was $6. That's crazy.
It feels like a $40 game.
Yeah, I think 40 would have been
in the
okay.
vein of like Firewatch or something. Is it Firewatch? No, what's the other one?
Yeah, Firewatch. Yeah,
Is Firewatch 40?
I think it was $30, but
I think
At least
Firewatch
that's
was
when
like
I got it.
25,
No.
even at launch.
oh. Whatever the price was, I know it was like it was over $20, but it was that was definitely worth it for me.
There was another game that came out around the same time that was the same type of game, but it was like $40. I can't remember.
I've got two theories for how we end up with this pretty large disconnect for a lot of game launches from like first looks to the final launch. The first part of this, I think, is the speculation culture in the gaming community. And again, I think developers kind of encourage it. Like they want to see the trailer breakdowns and the active forums and the discussions and the news articles. They want the hype train rolling and they don't really want to step in front of it. I mean, if their goal is to market and people are marketing it for them, even if they might be wrong on stuff, I can see why they wouldn't want to, to interrupt that. Just let it carry its own course. But people's imaginations very frequently get away from them. I mean, Joel, think about us before the DayZ Alpha came out, what we thought they had done in a year. Like, we had the most wild speculation of what they've been working on. And, of course, the reality was a bit disappointing because it wasn't realistic. So besides, I think, the hype train and the speculation, I think the reality is just of how marketing works for games and kind of how it has to work at a base level. So the marketing team's job is to present the game at its best. Like, they want you to see a little glimpse that is like the perfect scenario for their game, their product. But the marketing has to spin up years before the game is actually released. For most companies, I know Bethesda does things like a little bit closer to the line and stuff like that. But generally, a publisher who's put a bunch of money into a game, they don't want to take any chances. If they don't have an established IP, especially, they want to get the marketing started early. So the marketing team is creating trailers, screenshots, and previews off of a perfected vertical slice of the game that a lot of times is like propped up. Like, they're putting together a demo for E3 that is like using placeholder stuff where the team is like focused on this E3 demo for like 2 months specifically. And a lot of this stuff is going to change before the game actually comes out. So you have the marketing that starts way, way early for a lot of games because the publishers want to protect their investment. And then again, they're promoting a product that is still in like partially a conceptual phase. Like, they're demoing a product that's interactive that is missing a bunch of the pieces like behind the curtain.
Well, yeah, when they first showed some of the footage of it, I mean, you're on this beautiful planet. And that's just not where I started out in the game.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
when you flew up into space, you're like in the middle of a big space battle, flying through all that, and then go to the next planet. And that really wasn't. You see when you get there, you see all like these little green meteorites and stuff you can hit,
Yeah.
shoot to get more There's a certain type of boost that you can do to get to planets fast, so you have to use that to collect. But that wasn't the experience. So they literally took the most optimal experience possible to make the initial trailers and game footage, whereas most people didn't. I mean, it was cool finding larger facilities. It was cool being able to go to the space station, even though there really wasn't much to do there. But I don't know. I'll probably put more time into it. Just not now.
James, have you seen the video going around, like the little short Twitter video of the first trailer for No Man's Sky with the Jurassic Park theme song over it? It's like showing like the brontosauruses. It's like da na na na, and it's like, this is amazing. I'm going to explore new planets, and it cuts to like launch footage, and there's like this T-Rex because the animals are like generated randomly. And it has like this huge hulking tail, little itty bitty arms, and like a big head that's like twisted sideways, and it walks really fast, and it's like 100 feet tall. It's like derp 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 derp, and they started playing this like broken bugle version of the Jurassic Park theme. It was like dur 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 dur. I died laughing. I mean, that's the danger too, because for No Man's Sky, it's generated on the fly. A lot of the game is based off of an algorithm. They can't like tune too carefully, so you're creating a trailer off of like a carefully like curated look at a world that's supposed to be random. That's risky.
Yeah. The game that I was talking about earlier is The Witness. Are you guys familiar with that?
Yeah, I do want to try it out sometime.
I mean, it honestly does remind me a little bit of No Man's Sky because of the beautiful landscapes and stuff like that, but it really is just a puzzle walking simulator. But that's $40. One of those games was $40.
Do you own it though?
No.
Oh. I mean, I know you don't own it for $40, but I just didn't know if you.
I was just bringing it back full circle.
Got it.
Like something I mentioned earlier. Now I remembered it, so I brought it back. The one thing No Man's Sky did do for me is maybe want to go back and play more Destiny.
Oh.
Like, I feel like if they could marry the two games together, it'd be a really good game. Like,
I bet it actually would be, because I mean, playing with someone else, playing like 3 or 4 people, and just exploring a random planet, even if it was randomized enemies, it could be fun to like,
just
oh,
together.
Look, I found a weird gas swampy planet, and you know, let's go harvest whatever.
Look at the derpy T-Rex. He's hilarious.
Yeah. At least exploring with someone else, I think it would give you a little bit more of a reason.
Let's bunny hop together.
You know, James, it's funny you mentioned Destiny, because there's that one article that, man, it was like 9 pages, but it was super interesting about the development of Destiny. And it talked about how basically about 16 months before it was available to buy in the store, it was like a totally different game. And it like wasn't demoing well, and they had like design issues, and they like changed a whole bunch of the team out and changed what the game was. So talk about a marketing machine, you know, gearing up early. A year and a half before Destiny came out, they had been marketing a game that all of a sudden didn't exist anymore. Like, they completely changed the type of game it was going to be. Because I actually remember a lot of confusion compared to those first Destiny reveal trailers and to the launch version. Trying to remember where that article was. I'm sure if you Google like Destiny behind the scenes,
Destiny 9-page article.
Yeah, it was a long read, but it was really fascinating because you know, a lot of games change direction midway through. Like Half-Life 2 had to change their story because of the hack and the leak. But for Destiny, it really seemed like there was some serious panic, and like they pulled the foundation out from under it and rebuilt it.
I think that's probably one of the top of the list for me of seeing early stuff and then playing it. I mean, like Joel, I did get like 20 hours out of it.
Yeah, same
and
here.
enjoyed the time, but it never quite caught on to what it could have been.
Oh yeah, well that first footage they showed going through like the Russian facility, whatever, it really felt like they had flown a good ways where you could explore already, but it was like, nope, that's just one single area.
Yeah.
And you go through it and then you're done. And it's like, if it wasn't promoted, feeling like you can go anywhere and you can explore large areas and stuff like that, I probably would have. I probably would have enjoyed it even more, just because your expectations are not as high. Yeah, because it's like everything else was pretty well done. Like guns were awesome, Like UI was really well done. A lot of stuff was just really, really well made. But it was just like, oh, yeah. Stop using these words "open world" when it's not. Like, just don't. It's fine. It doesn't have to. Every game doesn't have to be freaking open world to be a good game somehow.
I'm enjoying the Taken King, by the way.
What's that?
I'm enjoying the Taken King. I think it's a little more polished than the base game.
Yeah, I might actually have to get that.
$20 at Toys R Us.
At
it
Toys
was
R Us
last week.
Oh, this is probably for another time. But Debbie came up with, I think, a really good idea. What about the opposite of this, right? How should a marketing team work for? I don't know how to summarize this up, so I'll just give you a quick example, right? So, okay. So I would want to promote my movie, Norman, in the best light possible, but in an accurate light, right?
Right.
Like I don't want to make it look like it's something it's not, right? But then I was thinking, okay, what if you have a game that's just it's terrible, it's not good. Like it's not going to be getting 8.5s or anything like that. You'll be lucky if you're going to get a 6.0, okay?
The Homefront team apparently knew that before it launched.
Yeah. Well, okay. So my question is, even ethically too, like, okay, for the marketing team, what do you do going, all right, we have a bad game. We simply don't have a budget to keep developing it to make it a better game. Like, this is kind of it. We realize, and even in a way, there's nothing wrong. Like, let's say they did their best. We're not good at making a game, right? Or like, we really did a bad game this time, right? How do you go in as a marketing team to go, okay, in my thinking, I'm thinking, let's choose the best parts of this, right? What's the best parts? I would still, in a way, ethically probably not want to make this game out to look like something it's not, but I would still focus on the better parts of it, right? I mean, like there's no sense of like going, hey, let's show the crappier story or the crappier dialogue.
Let's show
like,
the loading screens.
Yeah. Like let's not maybe not show the loading
issues
or like really crappy acting in some sequence or something like that. But I can see where the marketing departments on a lot of those games are going, shit, this game isn't, if we were going to be completely honest, no one's buying this game. You know what I mean? So they're like, okay, make it out to whatever it has to be. And then hopefully that'll give us a good week and a half of breathing room to sell it before word of mouth gets out that, no, we suck. I always wonder, that's going to be a bad
some
position.
of these studios that know they have crappy games on their hands. Like they purposely aren't making a good game, whether they're not capable of it or they're just for profit only. Like there's no love behind making the actual games. I think a lot of the Wii games that came out, they were just awful, but because they could sell it because
there was
it
not
used
much
the
else
motion,
coming out. Yeah.
They just throw something together and sell it. I wonder, as a team, you're like, we know this sucks, but hey, we did it, guys.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's like a scenario of like the ET game, how it was forced to, like the developers, they had to make it in such a short amount of time, right? So they know they're doing shit. But what do you guys think of my comment of just, let's just say, James, you make a game, or I just made this stupid CSG game, like it's silly, but let's say I make it and it's just absolute shit. Like it's the stupidest thing ever, which it pretty much is. But like it's stupid, right? Okay, let's say I spent $10,000 on it. I'm like, I really need to sell this to make 10,000 back. That's got to be a challenge, I think, for marketing department, even ethically. Like, all right, what do we do, guys? Like, we made our chance. Like, do we just go, oh, well, since we know it's a shitty game, I guess we'll just stop. Bye, guys. We'll just eat the cost. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's still fair for them to try to sell a game, even if it's crappy.
Most marketing departments are going to say, all right, you're making this crappy ET game. Let's really push the fact that it's a licensed game. Let's push the fact that it's got ET on it. Let's not show as much footage, but we're going to sell and make our money back no matter what.
And I think that's...
screw you guys. You guys might get a crappy product, but we're here for, we're a business.
Yeah. I hate that. Like, I hate that because it's like, me as a consumer, I do want to know what am I actually going to be getting, And for me, I think I would actually be way more attracted to try a game if they were more honest and they just showed, like, here's the highlight, here's a different thing we're attempting. Maybe I'm already not expecting I was never ever expecting No Man's Sky to be this AAA quality polished game. I was expecting it to be a very unique, different experience. That's all. Like just something different. And it might still be something that I might even enjoy still. I don't know.
That's why I have a lot of respect for companies like CD Projekt Red and Bethesda.
Yeah.
Their games might not launch perfect. They might have bugs that need to be patched and stuff. But you can tell that they're making it because they love it. You can tell the amount of themselves they pour into the games.
Yeah.
Fallout 4 wasn't the best game for everybody. That's fine. For some, New Vegas was better than 4. That's fine. But you can't look at it and say, you know what, they're just another corporate machine making, just spitting out games.
Yeah.
You know that you can look at it and see that, man, they spent a lot of years building this. And, they keep putting out stuff like, the Gwent card game, Fallout Shelter.
Yeah.
They put out stuff because they love making this stuff. Versus we are a company. We have to make this many games per year to stay afloat. Whether it's crappy or not, if we make enough games, it'll even out the costs. So Bethesda can afford to make a game once every few years, whereas something like Activision, which had so many licensed titles they had to push out, they don't get the time to finish their games necessarily, but they release multiple games per year to help even out that profit margin. So.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys knew about this, but Jeremiah told me we just recently got the Star Wars license, so we can make our Star Wars in RPG Maker. So we're making the sequel to Knights of the Old Republic 3.
And we'll know it's terrible. We'll know.
You will know it's
We're
terrible.
gonna shill hard. Get ready for some epic trailers that have nothing to do with the game.
Could you imagine all of a sudden we're somehow locked into a contract? We have to release Knights of the Old Republic 3 by next year, next year in RPG Maker.
So much scrolling text.
Could you imagine?
What will we do with the other 51 weeks?
Download a template, done. Add some Star Wars sprites on top.
It's got the song at the
I could
beginning.
just see
That's
it
all
like
it
E3.
needs.
They're like, we got one more surprise trailer, and it's like fade in. And it's like, what is this?
Joe,
like,
you would
2D.
play the crap out of that game. Stop lying. If you say you
true.
don't say you would.
Oh, I would, yeah, definitely. But I think everyone would be like, the shit.
I wanted to add that literally almost every movie does what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah.
With a game, you can look at footage and say, you know what, that's not really for me. That sucks. That looks boring to me. But trailers exist to show you the most exciting parts of the movie, to get you to get your butt in the seat. And, the prime example for me was Suicide Squad. I love Marvel and DC movies. I love the Marvel movies probably a little more than DC, but I love the DC characters a little more. So I was very excited when this looked like, maybe a step in the right direction from the missteps from Batman v Superman. And it didn't do anything for me. Literally, everything good from the movie was in the trailer. And there were no real surprises. There wasn't any more Joker for the most part than wasn't shown in the trailers.
You know what's sad, James? I actually, after the first trailer, was kind of not sure, but I got to really enjoy their marketing materials. Like, I really enjoyed their later trailers. But now I feel like that's where I need to stop. Just like, I enjoyed that trailer, and just don't ruin it by seeing the movie.
That's my experience.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll let my imagination just project out from the trailer of the movie.
Oh, I wish I never watched the last episode of Lost. I could be like you right now, Dave. Still happy about it.
Still
So
innocent.
for Deranger in the chat, I didn't hate Suicide Squad. I liked elements of it. Like, I liked how they handled not powers, but the specialties of Deadshot. And I loved the job that Margot Robbie did with Harley Quinn. But the elements didn't equal up to me to a good movie. Like, the story is important to me, and everything felt pretty forced. and then the payoff wasn't worth it to me in the end. So I didn't absolutely hate it. Like I wouldn't say it's like the worst cinematic trash that's ever existed, but I could have sat down in a room and said, "This is what you need to fix to make a better movie," and I think it would have turned out better. So that's it for the main topic.
Nice. Joel, what
thanks,
does that
Debbie.
mean it's time for?
What time is it, Joel?
Yeah, if it
It's
What time is it,
over.
Joel?
It's news time.
Oh, is it news time? Jeremiah's first on the list here, James. So I'm gonna actually just add something in here for next week. I want to talk about because I want Jeremiah here for this. The new line of NVIDIA laptop graphics cards have launched, and I think for the first time, literally ever, they're as powerful as desktop cards. Like usually, like the 960M, like the mobile version, is not a GTX 960. It's like 60% of a GTX 960. But they just launched the new line of cards this week for mobile, and like first brush, it looks like they are literally as fast as their desktop cards, and that is exciting. They're doing like this weird mix of they have to lower the clock speed a bit because of heat and like size. So they add like more cores onto the card so that the actual performance equals up with the desktop version of the card. It's interesting. I want to dig into it more with Jeremiah next week. So make a note, guys. I feel like we can really make you guys fall asleep next week with that section.
What?
Exactly.
What?
Sorry, yeah.
Joel,
Yeah.
let's just go right to my news. Joel, you're big into Twitter culture, aren't you? Like,
Oh
following
yeah. Oh yeah,
tweets
absolutely. I got tweet posters all over my room.
It's funny
I love
because
Twitter,
Joel
just
limits
logos.
the amount of characters he speaks in real life because he loves Twitter so much.
And you also love like following movie stars and like knowing about their daily lives, right? Like just in general. Like you want to know all the entertainment news.
Please tell me everything, Dave.
You
I
were
mean, I already
stunned
know
in
it
your
all. I
silence.
know it all. I've already seen everything
And-
because I follow all my tweets.
And this is the third.
Tweet pads or tweet decks.
This is the third part of the trifecta
desks.
here, Joel. Tweeting, celebrities, and modding. Your three favorite things all in this news story.
Is there any
In all
vaping in there?
seriousness, Joel, you're gonna love this because you know nothing about it. Do you know who Jaden Smith is? Will
Yeah.
Smith's son?
Will Smith's kid. Yeah.
Do you know about his weird Twitter account?
I've heard it before where he just tweets out just really like he tries to be like
Deep.
It's yeah, trying to be
It's-
deep or like
it's-
poetic or something like that. And it's just
It's
like
terrible.
What?
It's so cringy. But someone had an amazing idea. You remember guys in Left 4 Dead in the safe houses? Like when you're getting your guns together to go through the level with your friends, there'd be all the survivor graffiti all over the safe house, like so and so meet me here, and like this is our fault. We did this. The zombie apocalypse. Like we caused it. This is God's wrath. Someone made a mod that changes all the graffiti in all the safe houses to actual tweets from Jaden Smith. And Joel, open the link up so you can actually see examples because the guy actually did it with like the spray paint style textures. Let me read you some of the actual tweets that Jaden has tweeted that make amazing apocalyptic graffiti. Who was on the plane? The sky is purple. Chemtrails. Every 7 years, your body is completely replaced with entirely new cells. So just because you look the same doesn't mean you are.
So he's basically filled with bad information.
Yeah,
Tweets.
it's just the most like inane, weird tweets. And the way that this guy did like the textures, it just like repeats all over the wall. And this is my favorite one from Jaden Smith. How can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real? And so for the texture, he just has it written like 100 times all over the wall. How can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real? Just like a crazy person just totally lost it. It's one in the safe house. It just says, it's okay to cry, guys. This is an amazing idea. But I believe, yes, you can get this mod for Left 4 Dead from the Steam Workshop and get your fix of Jaden Smith in Left 4 Dead. This is a great idea and a fantastic mod.
Makes you want to kill stuff. You read it and you're like, I want to kill things.
I mean, the craziness is already right there.
How old do you think Jaden Smith is?
I think he's 18 now, isn't he?
Don't have to think. We can look it up.
He's 18.
Okay.
I was trying to make a guess.
Joel,
I had it open. Okay.
what's coming down the pipes for alphas and alpha tech demos and betas this month? There's all kinds of stuff happening.
Titanfall and Battlefield 1 are being squeezed out this weekend.
Oh, exciting.
Oh, sorry. Battlefield 1 isn't this weekend, is it, though?
No, it's the end of the month, the 30th.
Yes, sir. Titanfall 2, tech stress test multiplayer. I don't think it's actually the beta. I think it's just like supposed to be labeled as like the tech test multiplayer thing. Anyways, but yeah, that's coming out tomorrow.
Footage
So
of
I'm
that
really
game
looking
looks
forward
really
to that.
good.
So, because when we all played the beta for Titanfall 1, I mean, we had a blast. It was awesome.
Yeah.
The network was really well. Everything was made well. Like it ran really smooth. Graphics were great. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. So it's gonna be fun. Whether we buy it or not, like that weekend's gonna be a lot of fun with it.
It's a busy month for free tech demos.
Yeah.
Our last news item for tonight, I can go ahead and grab this one, James, seeing I'm the one that
I
added
might
it.
throw in a
grabby hands.
Nintendo rumor.
Okay.
'Cause that's my thing.
This is pretty fun. Overwatch had a patch update, and you guys know that trash talking has been a part of online gaming since literally the first ability to type "you suck" misspelled
Are you kidding?
with your keyboard. I mean, it's always been there.
Where?
Trash talking.
What's that?
You know, James, when you're playing Rocket League and you're low on sodium, and you really need that salt intake.
And then a
And so
filthy
you-
Frank drops into your life.
yeah, you want to remind the other team how bad they are. Blizzard has done something very fun with taunting in their chat. One of the most sarcastic things you can say in the chat is
Calculated.
GGEZ, which is like good game, which is supposed to be like, oh yeah, good game, man. But then easy is like good game, boy, that was easy. Like, it's like a backhanded compliment. Blizzard has added like an auto chat where if you say things like GGEZ, it will automatically replace it with things like, I feel very, very small. Please hold me. And it was an honor to play with you all. Thank you for coming out tonight. And then one of my favorites here, one of them is, come on, Mom, just one more game. Hold on 1 second. So basically, it'll hit a bunch of like pre-typed phrases of like taunts and replaces them with just ridiculous things like, it's past my bedtime. Please don't tell Mommy. It's just
I'm not good in real life, so I live through a game.
Exactly. Mommy says people my age shouldn't suck their thumbs. Well played, Blizzard. That is the kind of stuff that I enjoy for Easter eggs in games.
The only
That's
Nintendo
pretty
rumor we have this week is it's actually based on an older patent. Like, not older, like 2014, I believe. And the pictures from the patent that are making the rounds are Nintendo patented the ability to switch out pieces to a controller. The patent showed like a screen in the middle and then like 4 slots where you can put different pieces of the controller in, like analog sticks, buttons, digital, like the digital D-pad. Kind of interesting. I don't know if that'll make it into the NX, but it's Gamescom week and they haven't announced anything. So maybe next month, maybe at Tokyo Game Show they'll announce something.
James,
I mean, what's going to happen is they're
not
going to
big enough for Nintendo.
they're going to announce it on like a Thursday morning, just at random.
No.
Nothing going on. Middle of November. Or they'll announce it on like Thanksgiving Day when no one's available to even read it or get excited about it.
I swear they're gonna announce it, not even talk about any of the specs, not even show it off. They'll say the name, which will be Wii U 3, Wii U All, or something stupid, and then they'll be like, it comes with, like, I don't know, some stupid 2D thing that's not Mario, not anything recognizable, but then they'll talk about the like, what's the little figurines that you can tap on it, like
Amiibos?
an amiibo, and they're like. And then it'll just end. And people are like, when is it coming out? Nothing.
I got it. This is what they're going to announce. They're going to announce a totally modular console. you choose your specs, but all the hardware is contained in amiibos. So there's like amiibo graphics cards, amiibo RAM sets. Like you buy RAM pack upgrades. There are also action figures. Like your whole entertainment center is just action figures, like pumping out heat. Just. Joel hated this.
I've got it. This is what they're going to do. They're going to build like stands like this big, and your friends come over and stand on it, and they become the amiibo. So it's like augmented reality, and they can play in the game and run around, but they have to stay on the thing the whole time while you're playing the game.
They put a chip in your forehead to save your save games.
Yeah, but it's got a pretty crappy battery, so you got to replace it a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nintendo branded only too, so. Gosh,
of course.
I swear they're gonna do something so stupid. Like part of me wants it to kind of fail in a way, but like I mean I don't want them to fail, but it would be hilarious if they came out and it's like it is the dumbest thing you could ever imagine. I mean something so obviously dumb that people are like, this has to be a prank. You know what I mean? Like if I don't know, something kind of like, guys, it's gonna have QR codes and like it's just stuff that's like already so ancient. Like what? But it's gonna happen.
I want you to read B Squad Leader's message on here, Joel.
B Squad, where's that?
In the chat.
In the chat. I was looking at the Google Doc. What's your friend's code? Mine's 908-432-758-947-20938-4309-0743-289-0743-289. Oh, damn it. I think I got one wrong number. Can you go through it again?
No, we can't be friends.
Don't forget, too, that's only if you have the RAM pack upgrade. Otherwise, it's a 64-bit number.
I'm sorry, you don't have enough hard drive space to install your friend's code. Like, what?
I did have another piece of news. I forgot to add it to the doc. It's actually recent. Now, this is just speculative talk, but it's based on a comment from Microsoft that they believe that with the upcoming Scorpio, this is going to be the last console generation. And that could be speculation based on their comment, but I think that might make a good future topic.
From what I saw, it seemed... Sorry?
What were you saying, Dave? Go ahead.
I saw that rumor too, actually, just before the podcast, and it sounded like what they're saying is this is the last time that we're going to see a console that is designed to last like 7 years, like a generational console, that the next ones might be something actually kind of modular, not with amiibos, hopefully, but
yeah.
I like that idea. Nintendo will steal it.
They just heard that.
Yeah, I saw that news. I'm hopeful that it does a little bit mean what Dave was talking about, that I'm fine with, there's not going to be one that lasts for 8 years anymore. Although in a way they kind of still are. Like, even if they do come out with a new one, because essentially, I mean, you can get an iPhone or Android, and the phone can last 5-6 years. You might not have apps for all of them for 6 years, because it might not work. But I like the idea that they could be refreshing them often. I just hopefully they never go away. The dedicated gaming system.
They'd have to target not just the new upgrades, but also keep targeting the low too. It would kind of make sense so that you would have the ability, if you were okay with less graphics or something like that, that you could hold on to it for longer. I'd bet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've talked about this on the podcast several times. I could see a scenario where it becomes more Steam Machine-ish, where you have a baseline and then you have upgradable parts, and it still can function basically the same way PC gaming does, just with a more user-friendly interface. I could see that happening. Although I hated trying to use the Steam Machine interface when I had to do anything else other than load a game. Just FYI. So that's all the news we have for tonight. And now it is time for Joel to blast our ears off with the sweet nectarine of wisdom.
Sweet nectarine.
Blast away, Joel.
Blast us, Joel.
Blasting that nectarine. Okay. Well, first, we should probably start off with a book update.
Oh no.
If you've been following
Always.
the podcast for a while, you know that I've been reading a classic book called Chimera from Mary Rosenblum. Classic. Yeah, I'm now, let's see, I'm on page 59. So the last time I was on page 33. So I'm slowly making my way, but trust me, it hurts.
Slogging your way through.
Every single page hurts. And it's so annoying because one page will be kind of like, it's a little bit, back to slogging away. Like, then it just immediately turns. But these last couple pages are horrible. The amount of times that a sentence will start with, like, it will start with something like this, like, I wonder what he's thinking. He's thinking this. Like, it's like, wait for at least a immediate payoff. Like, one was like, one was like, then it was some just contradict. One said, it was the main character, Jewel. She's like, I will never do that. Actually, I will. It's like, what? Like,
he wasn't
don't
sure if he'd
say
make
that.
it to the end of the tunnel. Then he made it to the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Well, okay, it's funny because I think the writer has read a lot of books, but hasn't really like figured out like, no, that's not what they're trying to do here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in a regular story, like, okay, like I'm listening to Game of Thrones, listening to Harry Potter right now, but there will be a line that says something on the idea of like, the outward appearance says, no, no, I do not want to do this. You know what I mean?
My mind's telling me no.
Yeah. But then you go into the
my
head.
body.
Yes. I'm pretty much making that reference, yeah. But then you go into the character's mind, and it's like, you know, I hope the person doesn't notice how fearful I am. You know what I mean? Then you go, oh, okay, I'm getting the real count. But what's really stupid is the fact that you're getting inside her head the entire time. So it's like, I will never do this. I will absolutely do this right now. It's like, what?
With zero
Like, come
hesitation,
on.
here we go.
Oh, like here, I'm just gonna pick a sentence and read it. Thanks for letting me in. I know it's late. He was wearing a green tunic over his tights, and he carried a covered plate. The doctor won't let Flander go until morning. Flander's pissed as hell. But Chirasavina, no idea who that is, said he'll only have to stay on the remotes for a few days after his release. So that helped. Shadows still darkened his eyes in spite of his cheerful tone. He lifted the cover on the plate. These are Phoenix eye dumplings. What the shit? Like, it's so bad. Like it's like,
Of course, Phoenix eye dumplings.
this is science fiction. You can write whatever you want. Things don't have to sound stupid. Like, you can make it all up. Gosh. All right.
Is it time, Joel?
Yeah, it's time.
Okay.
So,
I got this, Joel.
okay.
I got
you
this.
Okay, you want to, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because I got some news last night, and I was talking to Joel on Skype when I was playing his game, and I was like, this is Star Wars news. I got to share this. And about halfway through, I realized I should have been recording this entire time. This is regarding the upcoming Battlefront Star Wars DLC, the Death Star DLC. They just announced, I think it was at Gamescom, but this week, basically, in the upcoming Death Star DLC, a new mode that fans have been begging for forever, because the original Battlefront had stuff like this, where it's a actual Death Star mission. It's like a mission mode. What do they actually call it? I think it's called... It's called something. It's a mission mode. Anyway, it starts out with a space battle outside of the Death Star, and once you progress to the next stage, you land on a Star Destroyer and you fight in the interior. And it sounds like you actually physically like fly into the bay or something like that. It sounds like you actually like land to make the transition. I'm not sure how it works exactly, but that's what it sounds like. So I'm describing Joel's dream come true. He would have paid for this season pass 5 times over. But I could hear...
Joe, what are you doing there, buddy?
Were you like Joel? You were like sitting on the bed, and by the end, you were like laying on the floor, gasping.
I was on
Here.
my bed. I was okay. Like after I kind of do a lot of film stuff where I'm like really deep into thought of like working on a project,
Yeah.
and then I'm done. I kind of have like a little bit of like slight, not serious depression, but I'm like, nothing sounds fun because like my brain is so, that's like, it stops. I'm like, nothing sounds fun. So Dave was actually playing a little bit of the CSG game, and he's like, oh, I got to show you this. So this really cheered me up. I rolled from my bed onto the ground.
And what I'm basically doing, I'm just reading this actual just story about this battle mode as if it were like a press release, just like line by line. And Joel is moaning like in the floor in excitement. And I'm describing like, all right, first mode, you're fighting in space. Holy crap, space battles! And then you land on the spaceship. You're fighting in the corridors. Holy crap, I always wanted this.
We should just play it so they can actually hear it.
We're gonna play it. And then at this point, I finally started recording because this is actually how the article is worded. Phase 3 is the big one. This is where everyone heads back into space, and the rebels try and fulfill their destiny by blowing up the Death Star. And the surprise here is that you get to play as all the main characters. Luke, Vader, like, you play it out. So I'm just going to play you guys the recording of me.
I'm getting tingly again just thinking about playing Star Wars.
I'm just going to read you guys.
Oh, I can't wait.
Me reading the Phase 3 description of this space battle to Joel.
All right, count us down. 3, 2, 1, go.
You guys ready? 3.
Yep, the not Jeremiah way. Jeremiah's not here, so we can do it the right way.
We'll do it the right way. All right. Yep. 3, 2, 1, go. In Red 5, beware, because Darth Vader has been dispatched.
Son of a bitch!
In his own personal TIE advance to stop you.
Oh my gosh!
Other new content will also be coming to the Death Star expansion, including new star cards and blasters. Joel's got enough blasting for everybody right now.
I'm flat on my back on the ground. Wait, my eyes are tearing up.
Joel, just imagine if you're Luke Skywalker
Oh, I'm imagining
trying to blow up the Death Star, and I'm Darth Vader trying to stop you in Star Wars.
Ooh. Oh gosh.
Oh, well, that was worth it.
Take a cold shower.
I think you're about 2 minutes too late for a cold shower.
Man, Dave.
I don't think your body was ready for that announcement. Well, I'm going to uncomfortably go now.
Thanks, Dave.
I did shadow play that in case you wanted it for anything, so you're welcome.
Oh, you did?
Joel, I just love the sincerity. I'm just describing it like the rebels are trying to blow up the Death Star, but then Darth Vader arrives to try to stop them. Son of a bitch! Darth Vader!
Okay,
It's
dude,
so real.
I'm not kidding at all when I've been hoping for that. Like, I was hoping I want to fly down the trench run, have that. I want to do that. And then I was like, shit, like, you could fly as Darth Vader and try to stop. Like, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. Like, I love that. Because I was
going to walk like a tripod today. Yay!
Oh, Joy has the DLC as well. Like, that is day one. We're going to be having a
You've
blast.
spent so much money on that game. God, you spent almost $200. Did you spend $200 on Star Wars Battlefront?
Star Wars. It makes me so happy.
I mean,
Star Wars.
No one can listen to that audio clip and tell me that Joel should not have spent $200 on Star Wars. Did you hear the pure joy in his voice? Oh man. That is our 90 seconds with Joel. It was more like 10 minutes, but it was 100% worth it.
Can I just read off the other topics on here?
I can tease them.
No, I want to read it.
Okay, good.
Because it has no context.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's just for me, anyways.
All right, the other two items on the list: bathtub experiences and safe spaces.
Coming soon.
I'm just gonna let that marinate for a little while in your brains.
Coming soon to a 90 seconds with Joel near you. What else we got, guys?
We got any mail tonight?
Mail time. Yeah, I have at least one. This is pretty cool. So on Dave's channel, we did a Nebula contest, and it was going to give away a free copy. And I sent one to a YouTuber who won, and he was from Germany. And I just recently got an email back, and he wrote about his experience with it. It took forever to get there, and so it was kind of interesting. I was wondering why it took so long, and I thought it might have been this. So he writes, "Hey Joel, I finally got the board game. It was a little bit chaotic because at some point the German Zoll customs office got it, but after a small bit I finally could look at its prettiness. The same day I got to play it with 3 friends and it was awesome. Would say at some point I really hated my friends." And the board could be a little bit bigger. And he had a little smiley face. "It was a very fun evening with a lot of drinking and mean friends with mean trap cards." How I hate trap cards. "Thank you for the game. And the next time I play, we will rise our drinks. Rise our drinks for the Nebula and the Casual Shenanigans crew, Nostrovia."
And Joel will raise his empty hand. Like, "Oh, I'm not holding a glass."
That's awesome.
And then he wrote his own card. "Holy mother of crap. Bet you didn't think this card existed. Send this board game to Germany and win the game. P.S. We'll upload some pictures on Facebook this week. Sincerely, Gleb."
Nice.
That's
Nice.
cool. It's nice to know that the board game at least got there. I just see like the German police like, "The hell is this? We ain't allowing this in our country."
That sounds just like Germans. What a great German accent. I hope we have a
Angry Texans.
Patreon that we
What
can say,
accent
"Joel,
was
you
that?"
say that."
I don't know. That sounded like angry Texans.
Yeah, well, but not quite. Like it wasn't.
That sounded
Southern
like
enough.
your Charlie accent from the other week too.
I can't place that accent. Whatever that was something unique.
I don't know. Something deep. Well, that's
Do
what we
you
have for
have any, do you have
news.
any comments of the week, Dave?
No
Any interesting
comments
comic?
of the week this week. We had a lot last week, so.
Awesome. Well, anything else you guys want to say or add tonight as we wrap up the show?
Just it's going to be a busy couple of months again with all these releases. It's going to get nuts.
Yeah, have fun playing these betas coming out soon for various games. And we do
Betas,
hope you
alphas.
enjoy Man of Sky. No Man's Sky. The
Man
sky
of
that is
Sky.
yours. I hope you enjoy it if you did buy it, and hopefully it's a fun game for you. Don't let our review or our chat get you down if you are really enjoying it, because it matters to you. It doesn't matter what we say.
I don't think it's a terrible game. I just think it's not for everybody. So anyway, if you want to get in touch with us, you can contact us or write into the show at casualshenanigans@gmail.com. Especially if you want to tell us about your wonderful experience with Nebula. Or you can send us a message on Twitter or follow us on Twitter at casualshenanigans, because we couldn't fit that in there. You can visit our website, casualshenanigans.com. We're also on Facebook. We're on YouTube, as you're hopefully watching live right now. And if not, you can join us every Thursday at 8 o'clock and watch the train wreck with video. And Joel has created a Snapchat. Don't know what he's putting there. You might want to log in just to find out. Casual Shenanigan. And Dave's channel is Evil Viking 13 if you want to watch some Fallout builds. And
There's more than
all
Fallout.
shut your hole, I'm talking.
Yes, sir.
Dave's gotten back into Blood and Wine to hopefully finish that, so he's going to be doing some more Let's Plays and...
Not the game, actually drinking blood and wine.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's back,
so
he's back into
my
blood and
immersion.
Literally back to Pavlov's dog experience now. I'm drinking like Viking blood almost every time that I play now, and it's like I feel like I'm missing something if I'm not. But if I like open the bottle and smell, it's like a ginger mead. I immediately want to play Witcher. It's just like it's connected. My immersion.
Dave is also making exclusive videos about PS4 Fallout 4 mods that he's going to be creating. Is that right?
Oh yeah, dude. The amount of mods on consoles are going to be unbelievable. As far as
And-
900 megs of storage space can get you.
Jeremiah's not here, but you can follow his YouTube channel, Germ Gaming. You can see all the
Yeah.
crazy potato masher videos and all
I was
the
going to say, go look at like
Let's Plays he
the
does.
torrent of Potato Masher videos he's cranking out right now. That thing is chugging.
I'm waiting for his No Man's Sky one. Has he done that yet?
It just went up, yeah.
It just went up? Oh, sweet. Something to watch. That's it. Thanks for coming out. For everybody that came out live and for everybody listening after the fact, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Hope you catch us live sometime. Come hang out with us on Teamspeak. Until next time, Joe, what should they do?
Pamplemousse. They should do pamplemousse.
They should
Drink
do-
LaCroix.
What?
That's the word of the day, folks. Pamplemousse.
Stay
Thanks.
weird. Bye.